All right. So I know we just hung up and signed off, but I noticed on my page that there was a question that I think is really important that we need to answer. It's how do you grieve someone who's still alive?
So that's like got to be many different questions to follow up with. Why do you have to mourn them while they're alive?
Yep.
Is it toxic for you or toxic for them?
Right.
And is it something that's just based on maybe some forgiveness?
I can't. I'm trying to pause this. Hold on. Stop talking, me. So what now at TV? And thank you. Yeah, we're live, but so your question was why are you mourning them when they're, while they're alive? I think I know that. I mean, I've mourned friendships. I've mourned, like, as much as it was probably a good thing that my ex-husband and I divorced. I definitely mourned what I thought was going to, I was mourning what I thought was going to be the relationship that I signed up
to mourn at the very beginning. Like, you had different pockets of mourning. It was like you were always open to some level of a healthy relationship. Like, you weren't like Xing him out of your life. Is this person Xing this other person where they're just never going to speak again? Because I do have one statement about that. There is a huge difference, and I say this to everybody, between dead to me and dead. I have a cousin, my father's brother had died, and he was not speaking to he wasn't speaking to his son. And I looked at him in my dad's hospice room and it said, so, like, how'd that go? And he goes, I'll tell you one thing that I've realized. Dead to me is so different than dead. If you don't give yourself that opportunity to have that some sort of closure, even if it's a negative conversation where, you're still not rebuilding the relationship, you're going to be left with regret. So that's where that goes back to being kind, right? Like, if you can just be kinder to people,
right,
there's less to regret. There's just, that question is a really big question.
Yeah.
If it was like a parent or somebody that was abusive, I don't know if I would necessarily encourage the person to go back, or if it's a relationship where there was abuse.
I think it's probably the question is from, and I just messaged her directly. I think it's probably a question of like, I'm imagining it's a relation. Like, I think it's more like relationships. Relationships, like if you break up with someone or a friendship that's no longer there. I mean,
that's time is our best friend, right? Like, and looking for the beauty part of it. I don't know. Like, the closest thing that I can think of is we were talking about friendships, how we've lost friendships, right? You can still love them, and maybe just praying for them if you believe in prayer. Like, I believe in positive energy, so I really try when I'm really mad at someone to pray for them, that they have a good day, that they find happiness and joy, because maybe if they do, then I won't be so triggered by them when I'm around them.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
One of the things that, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Ho'oponopono prayer.
Nope.
It's a Hawaiian prayer, and it means, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you.
Ooh.
And it was developed by a doctor who was trying to heal people from a distance. And he would say this prayer over and over again. And situations can heal when you just say it over. And we learned this from Tony, and Tony does this in his with all of his seminars. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And if you just say that prayer over and over and over again, not only do you say, are you sending love to that person, but you're also sending love to yourself. So, I mean, if I was to speak of, a friendship in particular that I know that I did something wrong, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I don't even need to say it to that person specifically. I just need to know that that's where my intentions are flowing. That's where my intentions are going. And not only does it heal that energy that's between the two of, because everybody's connected, right? So I would say the way to grieve a relationship that is lost is to just heal yourself.
Yeah, totally. Like, I don't know. We don't know why they're grieving, right? Like, so maybe you understand.
It looks like she's about to answer me. So, but yeah. ...
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that a lot of times it's really easy to think that we're grieving. We're not always I think grieving has a little different context to like accepting the person's behavior or ending it, right? Like the grief comes after when you have let go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're not in the middle of grief. Like, there's stages of grief. I get that. I never felt the stages of grief quite in the same way that I thought I would. So I don't know. I feel like this person has to identify a little bit more about, is it healthy or unhealthy for her to be in the relationship? Because if it's unhealthy, then it's just sort of grieving that the person isn't who they needed them to be.
Yeah.
Don't assume that this has anything to do with themselves, right? Like the 4 agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz, never assume it's about you. Most people are bringing so much baggage to the table that we're doomed from the get-go unless we're willing to like forgive. There's a lot of forgiveness that has to happen, more than grief.
Here we go. A loss of relationship and dream when the person has harmed you. So this was a loss of a relationship with someone who had harmed her. I don't know if it was physically or just emotionally. It was a dream. So a loss of a relationship and a dream that when that person has harmed you. So imagine this was a romantic relationship and that person harmed her and now she's grieving the dream.
Yeah. I mean, let's find you a better dream. I'm sure that wasn't even the best dream you could have ever dreamt for yourself, right? So like that's a lot of self-work, self-awareness, a lot of stuff that most of it's probably not going to have anything to do with that person, right? Like if we take personal responsibility and we do the so what, now what? Like if we're going to do that concept, okay, I'm sorry that the person like didn't honor you and didn't respect you, but let's dream a better dream. There's got to be something better out there. At the age that we're at, right? Like we had no idea this is where we would be at 48 and 49, right?
I'm right behind you, baby.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't know that we'd be talking about stuff like this at 48 and 49 years old. Yeah. We had no idea. And we didn't dream it. So
I mean, I wanted to be Kelly Ripa, and I guess this is my version.
I don't know who I'd want to be. Connie Chang, Connie, what was her name?
I wanted to be Katie Couric. That's when I went to college and I went for journalism. But that's totally a different conversation. But
I'm just saying, like, we couldn't have dreamt this. So like, I'm saying to this person, like, you can take the time to grieve. I wouldn't spend a lot of time there because you have a whole life ahead of you. Like, dream a dream. Dreams change all the time. Like, one of the things about when you think about grief, like the story, like one of the things that hit me the hardest was my dad will never dance with my daughter at her wedding. I couldn't believe that concept. It was a dream. It was some dream that I had my whole life from when she was born. And I had to change that.
Yeah.
I just had to change that. It's not possible. So why spend a lot of time going, oh, he's not going to be able to dance?
You want to focus on the beautiful moments of her wedding, not the things that aren't going to happen.
Exactly. So let's dream a dream. Whoever that person is, give me a shout out. I'll call me. I will help you. I'll help you more than that.
Well, and I think it's just never in my life, when I was a little girl, did I think, oh, this is going to be my reality. I'm going to be married twice, divorced twice, have 3 children, 2 fathers, have a scarlet letter, have blown up my life. Like, never in a million years.
Yeah.
Did I plan for any of or all of this? Am I responsible for my behaviors? Absolutely. Did I plan this? Was this my dream? No. But I have grown so much as a human, and I'm better because of it. And I have to believe that because that's how I survived that.
Look at that kid's face. I mean, he's just perfection. Like, I believe all babies are meant to just be like, there are no mistakes, even if it's like a mistake situation. Like, I do believe that babies come in like that baby. Oh my God, I could just eat him. His face. How could you not have loved this? You know what I mean? Like, so it might not have been the dream you dreamed, but
I'll tell you, Jeanette, one of the hardest parts of that situation for me at the time, and this is really fucked up for me to say and really going to be super vulnerable, and I'm putting it all out there. Like, it took me a minute to connect with that baby because at some level, he was the end of it was his presence in life was the end of the past. Like there was no going back to fix anything anymore.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so,
Thank God. That's why you had him.
and the connection with him was kind of I love. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I didn't love
No,
Asher. That's not what I'm saying. My connection with him and his coming into a relationship with me was different than coming into a relationship with Landon and Gia, because Landon and Gia were part of a normal story. Asher's coming into the world was not part of a normal story. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I really, part of the work that I had to do was separating the two. And it was the biggest like clusterfuck emotional roller coaster that I ever went on.
You did something so amazing in that process, and that was to make sure that Asher and his father would be solid. Like your goal was just to make sure Asher had a good father. You were like, I don't need you to be anything else to me but a good father to my son. And you cultivated that, and you made sure that that was a priority. And I think when we put children first, like in their best interest, like I think that's what happens is like it just starts to unravel better. And we're not trying to control for ourselves, because there were moments of controlling for yourself and what you wanted your reality to look like. And then here you are with this new reality going.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think, there are people that advise, there's all sorts of people advising me with different things to do and different ways to handle that relationship when the stuff with Brett and I went crazy. But I also, and I learned this through my relationship ending with Joe, is that we always, no matter what our bullshit was, we always put the kids first. And that didn't always feel good. And it didn't always answer the question of like, it didn't feed, I'm so angry and fucking pissed at you right now. That didn't feed that. But at the end of the day, what was best for Asher was that we found a common ground, and that I just tried to be the supportive person that Brett needed in the time that he was at. Now, was it always pretty? Absolutely not. Did it always feel good? I mean, Shasheen was my coach at the time. Gina, you were part of that process for me at the time. But I would say that was so much about grieving someone that existed.
You were grieving yourself.
Yeah, I had to die to myself a couple different times. Yeah, the old me had to die to get to the new version of me.
The value and the moral was always the same with you. Your child was the most important factor in there. Even though it warred with what you needed or what you thought you needed or wanted, your decision to always pick what was best for the kids was sort of astonishing to me. Like you would go off on these tangents and we would talk about stuff. And then ultimately you were a good mom, and you were all about if the kids were happy or if it was going to benefit for the kids, you were like, all right, I can see how I can make this work. I mean, I thought that was pretty courageous. Like it definitely, at that time I was going through that second court appearance, and it was just so much. And I remember thinking, I just want them to have something that's okay. Like, I don't want it to be trauma. I don't want it to be all this stuff. And I threw my hands up and I was like, all right, whatever's meant to be will be. And I took my hands out of it. And I think that I learned that from you, that as long as the kids were okay, then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, because the solution to the kids being okay was not always, and I need to separate the big kids versus the little, because what was best for Asher didn't always feel best for Asher, if that made sense. Like it didn't always feel like a healthy situation, but I knew that he needed this relationship and that I needed to let that relationship be what it was, even though it didn't always feel like I was making the right decision. I think I tried to see what was ahead. God, we get in tangents, don't we, Gina?
Yeah, we do. Well, we got history.
What we do. And I think that what I would tell people that are on the verge of this situation or going through this situation is like, do the next best right thing for your kids, not to fill some sort of hole of anger, not because you're angry, not because you're sad. Like, you got to kind of step out of your own grieving and out of your own pain to do what's best for them, because that's what's going to make you a strong, like, that's what makes me know that I did the best that I could. Like, I did what I didn't do the right thing all the time. Of course not. Like, I fucked up plenty of times. But at the end of the day, I think that I made more right decisions than wrong decisions like through the process.
Yeah, totally.
And honestly, like, and this is like one of the decisions that I made was to have Asher.
Yes.
One of the decisions I made was to do that.
And you knew what was going to happen. And it went down that way. And you know what? Wow. I mean, I didn't know you then. And I was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah. I mean, and for those of you who are watching, like, I got pregnant 6 months into my separation. I wasn't even divorced. And I was in the process of thinking that I could maybe put my relationship with my ex-husband back together. Like, this was a clusterfuck. Now, this is my story. Everyone else in this story has their own version of that story, but that's my version. That's all I'm talking about, is my version of the story. What was best for everyone was, and a hard decision that was going to have consequences on either side of this conversation, was to bring this child into, I mean, he's amazing. And I can't believe I'm having this conversation right now, but yeah, I think that when you're moving on from something that's not good for you, you're spot on, Gina. You have to dream a better dream.
You have to dream a better dream. Like, my life doesn't end because my dad died, right? Like, it doesn't end. It's just things aren't going to be it's just something's always going to be missing. It's always going to suck. Like, my dad's dead. Yep, my dad's dead. It's always the answer. But, because of that, now that I've gone through that, like, I'm a better person than I was 19.
You're a better mom.
I'm definitely a better mom. Like, without a doubt, like, I have so much more gratitude for my existence than I did. It wasn't like, the hand of God touched me and it was like this epiphany. I just did the work. Like, I was willing to feel whatever needed to be felt at any time. I begged, like, sometimes I'd be like, can I just feel this? And it wouldn't come. Like, Christmas. Didn't even notice that it was Christmas. Like, I didn't grieve during Christmas. Right. Easter, though, man. Easter took me out.
Took you out.
Right. So, like, you say you want me to start liking Easter again. Right now in my grief, I think it's not possible for me to look forward to my birthday.
Well, and also I think, holidays for the last 7 years, and even before that, when I was away from my family, guys, holidays are not all the Instagram pictures that people put out there in their holiday best. There's a lot of people alone, away from their children on holidays, and they suck.
Totally.
So it's okay. Like, it's okay if you don't like the holidays because you're not with your children. Like, I think last Easter, I was at home by myself. I was at home alone.
Those are the moments.
I was not in the relationship I'm in now.
But those are the moments. Those moments that are few and far between, especially as a mom, to get alone, where you're forced to feel, that's where we do the growth. So, like, if anybody thinks you're going to do this growth, like running from whatever to something else, it is the sit still, lean into it, feel it, the ugly bubble snot crying, texting mad shit to people, and then just sort of falling asleep and dreaming and then waking up and going to bed.
Yep.
New day. It's always a new day. Like, I couldn't wait to go to bed last night. I was like, I can't wait for this day to be over. Like, I can't wait to go to bed. And then I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, good, new day. And I felt it again all day. Like, it just wasn't going to leave. I think just because the 16th is like right around the corner. I don't know. I wish we should get the dogs together that day.
So there's a lot of people that are and I can't post this, unfortunately. I would like to, but Charlie, who I think I met at Business Mastery years ago, an idiot can see how we are all alike, but the wise can see how we're really all alike. We all have a story. And I think that we all suffer, we all feel loss, we all have heartache, everyone's heart breaks. But everyone has the strength and the ability to put their life and their heart back together. What did they say? What the cracks in your heart is where the light gets in? I mean,
Yes.
There's
I'm going to send you something. There's something about Japanese pottery that when the bowls would break, they didn't just run to the store and buy it. They would infuse it with gold. So these bowls became something. There's a name for it. I can't think of it. But these bowls were just magnificent.
Yeah, that's where that comes from.
I love that. And then the other thing that I do want to, before I forget, is I forgot. Wow.
That's 49.
That's 49. My daughter said, "There's something wrong with you. You forget everything." I'm like, ugh. We're not all 15 and cute.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking about grief. It's one of my things. I have a couple things about grief.
Well, and I think it's just about deciding to want better for yourself.
All the time.
There's definitely relationships that I was in them and they weren't working. I was like, why are these relationships not like, what am I doing wrong? And the honest truth of that, the person that I was supposed to be with had not entered my life yet.
Yeah.
And if there's someone who's hurt you, someone's done you harm, they're not the right person for you.
That's right.
Well, love does not hurt.
Well, sometimes we're not perfect.
No, we're not perfect. But when someone unconditionally loves you, that doesn't hurt.
Oh, right. Well, butterflies.
It doesn't mean that every day is bliss and he doesn't have to accept me with my crazy skin and my no more eyelashes and like he doesn't care.
You don't have eyelashes?
Like, they're gone.
Dude, that's funny. You always tell me not to get them, but you always get them.
No, I told you not to get them when I was getting them from the wrong person. Everyone, I'm going to put her out here. I can't. Elizabeth Smith is the best. And you guys love your lash people right now because book your appointments now when we can get back out there because they're going to need the love. Elizabeth Smith, she's also selling bracelets right now. Bumbling Bead. But anyway, we got to support all these people. She's selling raffle tickets and I'll probably this is one of the great ideas. Like a lot of hairstylists and beauty people are doing raffles. They're trying to earn money now by doing raffles to give away different things and they're all coming together. And so there's raffle tickets. So if you see that, support that. So I know that we went off and we talked a lot before, but when I saw this question, I thought it was really important that we come back on to answer this question because I think that is what more people go through is the grief of the loss of of someone who's still alive versus the loss of someone who has died because it's more socially acceptable to be grieving about someone who's died than about grieving someone who's not died.
Yeah, but I think that I don't even know how to say this. I just think that our dream isn't big enough. Like dream another dream. Like
no, you're absolutely right. And
it's better than that.
It's part of the process though.
Yeah, totally. I just want to dream.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And before you get to the next dream a better dream, you have to close that chapter. I mean, to write a goodbye letter.
Definitely. I'm all about writing goodbye letters.
Write a goodbye letter. Write a gratitude letter for the lessons you've learned from that human being. Right. Write a letter for the gratitude that now you know what you do want and you know what you don't want. That person has shown you the things that you want in your life and the things that you don't want in your life. And thank you for those lessons. So I would write a thank you letter to that person who's moved on in your life, who's no longer there. And just to say, you know what, thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the part of my life, the part of the journey that you were on.
I think that you have to change the order because you're right. This is exactly one of the things that I use. And one of the first thing you want to do is you want to list all the ugly, nasty, pain, gut-wrenching, brutal honesty in the first letter. You want to get it all out. Then when you have some time behind that letter, then you write the thank you. Because then you can feel all those negative things and get rid of them and process them with someone. And then you write the thank you letter. And then you actually, at that point, begin the healing part, right? Because we've already identified all the ugly. Now it's time to look at the beautiful parts of it. look at who you are today, right? Like, let's just use you, right? Because that your fan base will know who you are and your story.
My fan base.
Like, I would probably not find one negative thing to say about you because I know you, right? But there are people out there that would say something negative about you because they don't know you. And so then it's sort of like,
well, and there's people that would probably say something negative about me because they think they know me.
That's right.
Because they're judging things that I did or behaviors that I had.
That's right. But the first time I saw you walk into the gym, I was like, who's this hotsy-totsy going all over the place? Because you were just so secure in who you were. Like, you were just like, hey, what's up? And I was like,
which is so funny because at that time I was not.
No, but you were so excited to be out in public after having babies.
I guess so. I don't know what I was, but yeah.
It bothers me so bad that I cannot think of that grief thing. Like, it's just
helicopter. People say that all the time.
I'll be thinking about it tonight going to bed. Man, I wish I'd said that.
And then just post it. Just put it in the comments from our little show
like,
here.
I really think someone's going to watch this and they're going to be like, oh my God, thank God for Michelle and Gina. They just hit it on the mark.
You know what? There are going to be maybe 3 people that feel that way and 100 million people that don't even see this. But
I love
all I care about are the people that are here that need whatever message we're getting them. That's the only people that I care about. Like and this is the thing too. People are so not judging you the way you think they're judging you. They're judging themselves.
Yeah, their story.
They're judging. They're thinking more about them. They're thinking more about what you think about them than think about you. If that makes any sense.
Self-centered. They walk into a room and they only think, well, everyone's looking at me.
And then you walk into a room and think everything's nobody's looking at you. They're looking at themselves.
The one person laughing in the corner, I believe, is laughing at me. I totally always think that, like, what are you laughing at?
Yeah, they're not talking. They're not thinking about you.
I don't even exist in their world, probably. Right? Like, assumptions.
And I will also say one of the things that I think has been hard for me too is to actually let go of those people that did not want to be in my life anymore. Like, I had to actually let them go.
Yeah.
And as you know, I don't do that real easily.
No, you've been stalking me for like 5 years.
Because and because I know we have this, and but I think, like, I want to believe the best. I choose to believe the best in people. I probably maybe pushed too hard in certain situations, but my intention and my heart was always in the right place. And I even still care about the people that have not behaved the way I wish they would have behaved. Like, I'm not here to control anyone's behavior. And sometimes I wish that people, I think it's normal to wish that people would do things that acted a way that made you feel better, but that's not going to happen.
Yes. Well, no, because we don't have any control, right? Like,
no. And I still love those people that are not behaving the way that I would make me feel better. Like, so,
there's just so much pressure on relationships. And this is a whole nother topic that we can talk about sometime, but there's pressure. Like, I don't like the word, she's my best friend. There is nothing that makes my skin crawl. There is such a responsibility in that statement, right? Like, your best friend, like, my best friend's better than your best friend. Like, I don't have a best friend. I really don't. No. Because I'm going to disappoint someone. Like, that's what I know. I've been disappointed in relationships, and I know I've disappointed people in relationships, right? And, like, that's just life. Like, and I'm really sorry for those people that I've disappointed. But what I learned not so recently, like, I have to put myself first because there are people counting on me. So that means I don't have time for a lot of friendships. Like, that word that, like, if I forget somebody's birthday and they get mad at me for that, I can't even deal with that because I don't think along the lines of people's birthdays. Like, if I forget your birthday, it's just because I barely pay attention to my own, right?
So that's another thing. People are not thinking about you, and we care about so much about what other people think, and then they forget your birthday. Well, it's because they're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves.
Facebook, I just got on Facebook when my dad died so I could communicate with his friends. So Facebook has this great thing where you put in your birthday and then everybody knows it's your birthday.
Mhm.
Good God, man. Every day I got to wish somebody a happy birthday. And I know that sounds terrible, but I really I have so many other things that I want to do than wish somebody a happy birthday unless I really know them. And then I feel like I'll just send them a text and that's real. So it's so much pressure. If you're not the perfect boyfriend, or even they have promposals now. What happens to the couple that doesn't get the promposal right? What are you, the suckiest boyfriend and girlfriend ever to live because your promposal sucked?
Promposal.
Right,
You have enough pressure as it is. Now there's promposals. Well, there's no prom, people. So
right, and how terrible is that?
oh, so bad.
I
It's
feel
so bad.
We saved a lot of lives, though. To me, I bet if we looked at our numbers and we compared how many people have not died of certain things right now, driving, speeding.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like the teenagers that have been made to stay home that would be partying their butts off right now. That's a whole nother. God, we digress.
All the time.
Anyway.
Okay. I will think of that thing at 3 this morning.
You will, and you can go ahead and post it. So the challenge with this format that I'm using is I can't see the questions or the comments that are coming in on my personal page when I'm doing it on the So What Now What page. So I'm just on my own page right now, and so I'm on my phone to see comments. So if you guys comment and I don't respond, it's just because I didn't see it, and we'll get back to you. But again, if there's
a lot,
if there's a topic that you guys want us to talk about, clearly nothing is off limits.
We'll talk about anything.
We will talk about anything because I think that's the way we serve people at the highest level.
Can we talk about Botox? I'm just kidding.
I mean, that is a now what? So what? You got wrinkles? Now what? There's Botox. It is a thing.
I get Botox.
It's not right now because we can't go anywhere. But I think my desire to do this. Where are you going? Oh, she's getting her puppy.
This is my baby. Oh my God.
How much does your baby weigh?
She's 46, 47 pounds.
Mine's 10 pounds bigger than yours. He's sleeping. Anyway, so this is the only thing I ask from you guys is that if you want me to talk about a subject, I don't care how off limits it may seem, we're going to talk about it because that's what this So What Now What conversation is. And it came from the most vulnerable time in my life. And I think that if we don't talk about those hard times, we can't help people. And it's not all bubbles and puppies and rainbows. There's a lot of nasty shit. But I think we've bored everybody enough tonight.
That's okay. We had fun.
We did have fun. And I think that's what's really
drink.
Cool about
I just
this.
like to point that out. We didn't drink.
No.
I like to point out situations that happen that don't involve alcohol because, as you know, my passion is addiction and alcoholism and all that fabulous stuff.
Well, don't be mad at me next time if I have a glass of wine while you're drinking your water.
As long as we're not talking about my other job.
No worries.
Just saying.
All right, you guys.
90 days no drink.
We love you. We're here for you. We'll talk about anything. This has been so fun. Remember, So What Now What is a moment in time. It's a pivot. It's a reset. It's a refocus. Anything you want to talk about, we're going to talk about. We love you, and we'll see you tomorrow night. And tomorrow night, Eric Swanson is coming on, and we're going to have a party about habits. So, we'll be here. Bye, guys.